No, actually, this is well. So I was just saying that Leaflit is like one of my top 3 sources of news. And Simone was like, this is the way news should be. And like, if you had told me as a young man, well, when you grow up, you see, it turns out the New York Times, nobody trusts it anymore. You know, you go to Wall Street Journal, nobody trusts it anymore. But you see, there's like these anime characters online. And a lot of people really trust them. Not only that, and it's like, oh, what's their credentials? Like, how does everybody know that they, you know, are they like war correspondents or something? And it's like, no, it's just like everybody starts lying. And so like the 5 people who aren't, like everybody takes super seriously.
Yeah, basically.
And there's like, that sounds insane. And it's like, no, it's weirder. You see, it turns out that like the type of music you listen to is going to regularly feature these random anime characters.
Oh god.
Like the whole like the Skybrows, like
it's so funny. No, I was telling Leaflit, we had one of our kids who's watching Skybrows, because I play Skybrows all the time while I'm working or whatever. I like his songs. I think they're pretty good. And you know, so our daughter likes to identify with every female character she sees. So she goes, oh, that's a me. And usually I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, that's you. And this, I was like, oh no, actually, that's one of my friends. And one of our older kids was like, wait, one of your friends? That's like an animated character. Because those aren't real. And I'm like, well, okay, so this is going to take a little bit of time to explain. But sometimes they're real. Simone, what's this sign on the screen? Is this something we can get rid of?
The live thing?
Yeah.
Live view. Why does it think we're live?
I don't know.
I don't know, but we're not. There, it's gone. I've made it disappear. Everything's going to be okay now.
I invented a new dish today, which is actually pretty good.
What's that?
So mac and cheese with extra pepper, like black pepper. It actually works really well.
I think it's done a lot at restaurants as it is.
What made me realize this is a lot of like Asian dishes that you've been making recently just use obscene amounts of black pepper. You know, like pepper chicken and stuff like that. And I was like, why don't I do this with everything?
Why not?
It's good flavor when it's freshly cracked and stuff.
But the reason I'm so excited to talk with Leaflit today, because the first time we talked with her, apparently it was like your first time talking to somebody else. Sorry, for people who don't know, I should give some context. So Leaflit is quickly growing in influence. I think she'll soon be, I mean, just based on my viewing habits, I think she'll soon be one of the sort of dominant right-wing streamers in terms of like interesting ideas. And we brought her on ages ago. And since then she's gone on all the channels. She's always on the
side scrollers,
side scrollers and stuff like that. And she's always on every Skybrows video. Every one of the Skybrows videos, it's like 3 effing Leaflit appearances. If I can have as much mental space as somebody's brain. And if
you guys were on too.
Yeah, he did one with us. One with us, yeah.
Was it that creamy Manjaro one?
Yeah, creamy Manjaro.
That was the best one. That was my favorite one.
Oh, I really like the Amelia one.
I like that one too,
yeah. But what I wanted to do is this video. So for all our fans who are coming here to learn something about the world, because I was like, how is it weird that you're one of my major sources of news? No, I don't want to do that in this video. I want to focus on like nerd stuff specifically.
Sure.
So I want to focus on, because when I first heard that like you had built a world, and I asked you about it last time, I think you were a little like, you probably were like, somebody doesn't actually want all the lore. And I'm like, no.
You were still working on it though. I don't think it had gone live yet.
Yeah, it's out now and it's grown a lot since then. Like we have over like 140 players now.
Oh my god.
But like that's not like players who are playing in, you know, with their friends and whatever. This is like one campaign. Like imagine like one tabletop.
Explain how this works. Sorry. Okay, so I need to zoom back for the audience here. Okay. So there's like tabletop gaming. And tabletop gaming happens in like D&D is the most famous example. You got Pathfinders, all that. And sometimes people will create their own lore and worlds, and that is what she has done. But it appears that somehow you created like an MMO version of tabletop gaming. So
Well,
explain this.
sure, I can. So it started off. I was running this campaign for like such a long time. Like I looked and I was like, I have like what 14,000 hours or something, and like roll 20. Yeah, I'm like crazy. So like,
No,
and this
the
was
good kind of
I went
crazy.
through some really really bad times in my life. I was like
Mhm.
super depressed. I didn't like do anything. And all I did was tabletop. I was like, I'm just gonna play tabletop, go to sleep, wake up, play tabletop. So all of that stuff and like translated into the VTuber stuff and the company and all the stuff that we do is like
Oh my
based
god.
on that. So like that
Wow.
campaign has been running for that long, like over 10 years.
That
Yeah.
is so cool. I mean, it's not cool that you were like in a dark place.
Oh no, it's
It
fine.
sounds like a show's plot, like, you know, girl gets depressed and then like literally falls into an alternate universe and it's a little izakaya-ish and like that is
Yeah.
and then like becomes like an internet celebrity and then it's straight out of like a show plot. And I
I
love
didn't like
that.
expect any of this. Like if
Wow.
you told me like years ago that I would be doing this, I'd be like, you're crazy.
That is okay. So I want to dig into how this came to be, this
Yeah.
world, but I also want to get into like, because I watch. So for people who don't know, like the content that I'm familiar with from her is from YouTube, and it's a fan of hers who clips it and she sort of shares it 50-50 with the fan, and puts together her YouTube. But what that means is I don't get all of the lore and backstories to your characters, to
Mhm.
your world. Like, okay, brief question just to start.
Sure.
What's the difference between the Goo Girl character and the character you are now? And are they actually the same character? Is
Same
it sort of like
character.
okay, so it's a slime. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, reincarnated slime is one of my favorite izakais. So
Oh, me too. Me too.
okay,
So, like,
okay.
I'm a
So
slime girl, right? So like the story is that my character is half slime. So my character's dad is a slime and my character's mom is a fae. And there's like an entire like this all came up because like years ago when I was running this campaign for so long, right?
Mhm.
One of the players was like, but what if I want to have a kid in game? So like what happens if like I'm a cat folk and my wife is a slime? And so like I was like, damn it. So like now I had to like write all of this lore behind it. And it ended up being used for this to like make my character. So my character is technically her race is chimera, which is like magically mutated biological thing. So like for instance, a cat folk would be a chimera, but they would be of the cat folk like type, like
yeah.
subspecies type, right? And even within that, there's even two different like phenotypes. There's like the canolith and the zoolith, which is like so the difference would be like if you had a rat girl versus like a skaven.
Sorry, first of all, one of my favorite things about this conversation, if there
Uh-huh.
is a huge population on the internet who sees both of us as right-wing extremists, and this is a conversation that to the internet, right-wing extremists they're having, it's like, well, you've got the chimera of the cat girl. And no, okay, so your character came out of an individual play session that you were playing.
She's an NPC. So okay, so she's not even my OC. That's a funny thing. So like,
What?
yeah, she's not. So this character. So when I was making my VTuber character, I was like, well, I don't really want to be like the girl. I want to be like just some random villager office lady. And that's what
Mhm.
Leaflit is she's like the guild receptionist of the guild. So the player characters, I'm DMing the game. The player characters they went through this really, really long campaign. They ended defeating the big bad
Mhm.
and they're settling down. They're like, let's make an adventuring guild, right? So they found the adventuring guild, and
Mhm.
my character is the receptionist of the guild. So I'm not
Aw.
even like a main character or anything like that.
No, I actually really like this.
Yeah.
As a world that was
Mm,
created by the Adventuring Guild receptionist,
yeah.
sounds very fitting for like an anime. Um,
Yeah.
uh, have you watched the one about the Adventuring Guild receptionist?
I have not, is that the one where she's really powerful?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
It's decent. It's decent.
Mm,
Okay, so you when you were playing this particular campaign, was
mm.
this in your world or was this before your world existed?
All of it is the same world ever since the first one. So there's been like different timelines. Like some take place like thousands of years in the past, but it's all one continuous world.
Okay.
And go ahead.
No, continue. I want to keep hearing. But you have multiple campaigns that you place in different time. First, I got to hear about the logistics. How do you do this many people in one campaign?
Oh, you're talking about that one. So that one is the newest one. So that's the 10th campaign. I think it's the 10th one. And so what happened is we developed this RPG, right? The tabletop RPG, and we released it. We released it like the system's out, like an alpha, like anyone can play it for free. It's kind of like imagine Dungeons and Dragons, but the difference is the rules are online, so anybody can play it. There's no fee, and then it updates every 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. So we have like patches. So it's I hate to use the term, but it's like a live service tabletop RPG kind of.
That's actually really interesting. Okay, so if I understand this correctly, people play individual campaigns with small groups.
Yes.
But what's politically happening in the world change, like politically, I don't know what you call it, but like that's changing as they're playing.
Okay, so it goes like this. So, you know, we have the game, we have the live service thing, right? And what happened was as we were playing this, we were like, we don't have enough people testing the game. And somebody was like, well, have you heard of West Marches? You know what West Marches is?
No.
Okay, so like, have you heard of West Marches? And what West Marches is, it's a format of tabletop RPGs where you have all of these individual parties and they can do whatever they want in this world. But then like what they do like actually affects things that other parties see. So like what happened was we were like, what if we do that like a canon campaign where players can feel like they're actually a part of like the Leaflit world and the Leaflit lore, and then they can affect the world. So like we're like, okay, so let me sit down and like make a setting for it. And what we invented was a setting separated from the main continents. Like where Leaflit lives right now is like different. That's like the main area.
Okay.
And then we separated it off. So there's this concept in the story. There's a place called the Astro Line, and it's basically like imagine like the equator, but it's this giant like irradiated zone. It's like magic is messed up there, and it corrupts stuff, right? So these adventures are basically, and normally you have to be a really high level adventurer to go there because they don't want people going there. But this person set up like this kind of bootleg village where they're like, okay, anybody that wants to go in, like, you know, you could come here, and then like there's a way to get in there, right? So the players are those people. They're like the we're not official adventurers, but like, you know, screw it, we're gonna go in there and we're gonna look in whatever reason. So like some players are like,
so what makes the line irradiated? Like what makes it dangerous?
Okay, so it's a little bit okay. There was an event that happened in the game in previous things, and it caused an event in which this happened. I can't really say it because it's like it's a spoiler, and like everybody's trying to figure that out right now.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
I can tell you later though.
In what way is it? So you call it irradiate? I guess what I'm trying to find out is like what makes it hostile feeling? Is it like unusual numbers of monsters, mana sapping? Like what's the thing that makes it dangerous?
So like this force is called Astra, and it's a type of magic. So there's like the different types of magic.
Okay.
Astra's like the least understood one. And what it does is it tends to just make weird effects. But the biggest effect that it has that's bad is that it will sometimes corrupt a thing. And it doesn't have to, and this is the thing, it doesn't have to be a biological thing. Like it could be like, it could be, but it could also be like a house or like, and are you familiar with SCP? It's kind of like that.
The SCP Foundation?
Yes.
Like, oh yeah, we talked about this. That was the thing I talked to you about where they make up all the monsters.
Yeah.
And they have the entire lore, and it's so cool.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love watching SCP lore videos.
Yeah, it's similar to that. So like things get corrupted. So like a house, for instance, or like one of the big dangerous ones is a mirror. And there's like this mirror, and like it's just a corrupted mirror, and it's the corrupted concept of a mirror. So it's like rather than being like a creature that like stands up and attacks you, it like if you look into it, it like corrupts you basically.
Our kids are going to become obsessed with this as soon as they get like literate.
I'm actually almost more interested in how. So it sounds like the way you developed your universe, if I'm wrong here, is you started just sort of building on it as you played session after session, and then new things get added. It reminds me of, in some videos I described like modern Judaism as a bit like this, that it's just been around forever, and then people added new things, new things, new things, and now when you look at like Orthodox Jews, it's like fashion trends from like 2 different centuries all implanted on top of each other. Not 2 millennia, like, and we're just gonna, because when you're like different types of magic, okay, first of all, I wanna know about the different types of magic. Like,
Sure.
let's zoom into that. Yeah.
All right, sure, of course. So like I love this, by the way. Like I sometimes do this on stream. I just nerd out about lore, and like people ask because the people that play the game want to know, and they're like, "Oh, it's time! It's time for the Leaflit lore session. Time to figure out stuff that she won't tell us, right? Try to bait her into telling us stuff." But so there's like arcane magic, and that's like your typical understanding of like sort of science magic, where like they have an understanding that there's like this energy force, and then like they could take the energy force into themselves and then program it and then use that to like use magical effects. And the extension of that is called artificing, which is, if you know artificing, but basically
Mhm.
it's taking that programming but making a circuit that goes into an item so that you can put the mana into the item and it like follows that exact circuit, which allows non-spellcasters to cast.
Okay.
So like in the world, like everybody uses magic, like even like fighters, like they would like have a sword that has like that circuit in it, and they would all use magic that way.
So
First off, no, I just have to say, this is
Mm.
really annoying to me. Have you heard of Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality?
No, I have not.
Okay, it's basically Harry Potter fan fiction. It was like, well, what if we took,
by
someone who's like
Yukowski, the anti-AI
rational?
guy.
Yeah, he's an AI doomer now, but like, I mean, this is one of the things that made him famous. And what was really fun was this premise of like, what if someone just really thoughtful took this wizard universe and was like, okay, well, what if we like apply some more like principles of basic physics to this and stuff like that? But he doesn't really follow through with it. And what I love about what I'm hearing here is you're like, well, what if we like actually thought through how like this magic would work and how we could apply it to objects, and like how in a real world non-magical people would start to leverage it and like add it to
well, I have for fans who don't know this, if you're on our like subscriber, I have a number of stories that I've played out with like the site that we run, Reality Fabricator, where I try to go through like different magical universes. But okay, so now I'm immediately interested in if this can be, so this system, where does magic come from and how can it be stored?
So there's 2 ways. One, there's like a biological magic container that people can have. And then the other form is as fuel. So like they can create like a distilled magical fuel. So these like items I'm telling you about, they use like cartridges that like people put like a bullet in it, but it's like it's like just a fuel canister. And they'll
Right.
put it in. Yeah.
I should be more direct about what I'm trying to do. So what I love doing in these universes is try to figure out how their physics work to find out how I can exploit them to become extremely powerful. So what I'm asking here is, if I wanted to fill up a canister of magic in your universe, right? Where, like, what's the process for that?
Basically, so right now, the main way to get it is to mine, like it's like a fossil fuel. Is people will mine like a fossil fuel of magic. Yeah.
Clever way to not make it easily breakable. So it's not something I could take from captives. It's not something I can take from an environment. I need to literally mine it.
So the funny thing is there was a way to do this. So one system that we have is this thing called Divine Arms. Have you watched A Comic Kill?
Which one is that?
It's the one with assassins and like they want to take down the government, and then they have these weapons that like nobody understands how they were made.
You're not talking about Clevitas, right?
No.
No, I haven't watched that one.
So basically, there's these ancient weapons that nobody knows how they're made or what they're made out of, and the methods of their creation aren't understood. And there was one that did this, that basically converted people's lives into like bullets, so they would like shoot other countries with them, like an artillery.
Yeah.
But it got blown up recently. But someone's trying to rebuild it. But that's another story.
Wait, hold on. So, okay, so is there any understanding in the universe of why this thing that they're mining has this power?
It's basically like fossil fuels. It's like as things die and they have like magic in them that like kind of distills into like rocks and like different things that they can mine up and then like
That's
liquefy and turning
pretty
it.
clever. I like
Yeah.
yeah,
If
because
a
what you were
biological
saying
being can produce magic, that maybe like there's something in them that when they die, like
Yeah.
yeah.
One of the
Right.
types of magic, yeah, that
Yeah. Yeah.
exists.
Oh,
Hmm.
that's pretty you know, if I was making this universe, the twist I would use is that it turns out that this is actually their souls that people are burning through. Like, it's like
That's a different
the
magic.
oh, that is? Okay, go over this.
Yeah, kind of. So, like, that's how divine magic works in the setting. So,
Mm.
divine magic is the idea that if you believe in something, a piece of you goes to that. So, like,
Oh, fun.
Oh,
it
very like
doesn't.
Neil Gaiman
N n
American Gods.
Yeah,
Kind
yeah,
of,
kind of
yeah,
like that. It
okay,
doesn't really
yeah.
matter what it is too, right? Like if it's a concept you believe in, it would like
Mm.
send like some of that energy of your soul to that, whether that's a god or even a hero, right? Then that's how like heroes are so powerful. It's like so many people like love them.
Does it burn your life force to use
Ooh.
this form of magic?
It's kind of like a finite amount. So it doesn't like kill you, at least in the normal sense, like the typical
Did
sense.
you ever see I don't know, I know this is deep, I think it's called Chrono Trigger or something, the anime where the character, like,
I
loses their
understand.
lifespan every time they use magic, and I
Yeah.
kept expecting the entire thing. I was like, "They're not actually gonna have her die young, like, there's gonna be some reversal before the end of the anime."
Wasn't that ending amazing? It was like the
No,
best.
that ending was like, "What the you had her die as, like, a fucking child? Like, what? I did not there's not consequences to this type of magic in most anime."
I loved it. I loved how they actually stuck that ending because like most people would have chickened out.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And they bring back
I
consequences.
100% believed they were going to chicken out. I didn't have the slightest there was no part of my brain that throughout the entire anime thought that she was just gonna die after the big bad, like,
Yeah.
being held by her best friend, right? Like, I was like, "What? You had set them up as, like, lovers, and they're still children."
Just the way it happened was so good too. Like just like the final scene of it, like man, it was good. It was a good one, yeah. Oh, one thing you might like about the magic, like in like relation to the world,
Yeah.
is so adventuring is like think of the word adventuring when they think of an adventurer, someone who like you know the concept of, like adventuring guild and you get like ranks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The original concept of that was is a fighting style called that was built around that, and it's
Okay.
people that are able to use their internal magic to like augment their muscles, and that's like the basics of that. And
Hmm.
this is
Okay.
why like everyone in the setting, like like even like the level 1 characters can like jump like 3 stories, and they can like instantly teleport behind you and stuff like that using like their magic, right? And the original story, so this is like actually canon in the lore, is
Okay,
that
okay.
there was a character who was a girl, and she had a dad who was like this expeditioner who's like going on grand adventures, right? And the daughter really wanted to go with him, but they got to a point where like her dad was like, okay, like you stay at home, you can't do any of this, right? And then like he would
Yeah.
take her brothers, and she got so upset by this that like, and her mom was like a mage, so her mom would teach her like, oh, like here's like magic for like how to heat up water, here's
Mhm.
magic how to do this stuff, right? And eventually she was the first person who founded the ability to like augment your muscles with magic, and that's the explanation of why female player characters can actually fight men.
That's needed. That's needed in a setting. I'm actually sorry. I love this is why first I just can't help but thinking in so many people's minds these are two like far right commenters talking and learning about like old animes. But then two, it's like you come up with explanations for stuff that
Mhm.
the mainstream creators are not coming up with. You have like a D&D campaign or whatever, and a female's just as strong as a male, and a female isn't as strong as a male. That makes no
It's not,
fucking
yeah.
sense. Right, and so you're like, "No, we have an explanation of that." We're
Yep.
but the other thing, so I wanna go deeper because I wanna
Mhm.
find out how this system can be broken. Okay, explain to me the different types of magic.
Okay, so there's like the divine magic, which is the one I talked about,
Yeah,
and
that'd be
then
harder to exploit. You could try to create a cult or something,
mhm,
it wouldn't really
which
be
they have
scalable.
done. People have done
Oh,
that. Just
actually,
kidding.
can you use divine magic to manipulate people's minds?
To manipulate people's minds. I mean, I guess you could use any magic to do that.
Well, if you can use divine magic to do that, you can create a cascade, right? So if you can like use the divine magic that you have to get people to worship a certain concept and then draw power from the concept you're having them worship, you could create a cascade. But that seems hard. Like the mining one, what I'm impressed about your world is I can't think of many ways to exploit the magic.
Well, it's because we had to work on it because like as I was DMing this stuff, right? So like all of this, it wasn't something I planned out. I was like, I sat down and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and this is like how this system works. It was like me playing with players, right? And like again, like this goes back to like a time when I was like really, really depressed. So you have to imagine I would like run 18 hours, I would sleep, eat, run 18 hours. Like that was like my schedule, right? And so I didn't even have time to prep for the games, right? So a lot of it was reactive based on like players trying to do some bullshit, and then like I would have to like, okay, well, how do I write myself out of this, right? So
I would know what's so funny is George R.R. Martin has been working on the last book for however many years, and you're forced to like write new volumes every time you go in. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to understand the body manipulation magic. What is the source of that magic?
The body you mean like
the stuff that's used to make people physically more powerful? Like, is that the same with the artificer magic, or is that something different?
It's the regular arcane magic. So it's like the ambient like force, I guess. It's like magic just exists in the world. It's like ambient.
Okay.
Of different levels, not like the same level everywhere. And people have a thing called a soul core, which stores all their magic.
So you can store magic from the ambient magic level.
Yeah, but it's capped as to like there's like a certain like maximum.
You can't can you store it in any external object?
Some people can, but it's still reliant on magic to activate. It's like the biggest loophole here would be like probably emojis. Like they have like they can imbue their magic into ink and then write like talismans that like have a spell effect. That's like, but then they also have to use their magic to activate it still. So it's not really that big.
Yeah, very well set up world. I'm going to be honest.
Thank you.
Well done. Now I'm impressed that it's hard. Yeah, because what I would normally do, if you could do something like that, then what you need to do, like if you're a lord or something like that, is use any of this type of character you have captured or essentially industrially farm them to create magical scrolls. But if it's their own magic that's needed to activate the scroll, then you can't use it in any sort of industrial capacity.
One thing might be what might be interesting, like if you want to know this about divine magic, is that like if it's a god, like the concept of a god, that is, there's a container for it. So you can actually kill the god and like take their container.
And what could you do?
Nobody knows about, but I they'll find out now. But it's whatever.
Oh, that's amazing! We're dropping lore here. No, so there is one of my favorite things about the Warhammer universe. Do you like follow the war of like Warhammer 40K?
A little bit. Like I'm not like super deep in it, but I know like a little bit of it.
Is they took the concept, and this is why I like it. So they took I actually have never read a single Warhammer book in my entire life. I have only watched lore videos. But they took the concept of, well, if you worship something similar to your universe, like if you worship a god or a concept or have a feeling, that creates a divine entity of that type. And what is funny is a lot of like hippies believe this. They're like, well, all gods and all religions are true insofar as like people believe in them, right? And then it takes this and it's like, and if that was the case, it would actually be really horrible, because what would happen is the most basal concepts, like a fear of death, would get feedback loops where like the god that was manifested by that fear would want to create more of that fear to manifest himself further. So you get like the god of eroticism, the fear of death, like all of the most basic things. But it doesn't sound like that's a problem in your universe, because it sounds like these are not like active thinking entities that would want to like empower themselves further.
Yes. Well, one thing I will say is that that ties in that whole thing being bad ties into what I told you about is like what caused the big irradiated zone.
Ah!
Yeah.
Ah!
So if you think about it, right? Like I'm sure you can
You're
piece it
getting
together.
worse.
Like
Okay. So what are the major political events in the world right now that like players are thinking about, that are changing, that are exciting people?
so there's two right now. The there's the novel, the light novel, which is a civil war in like one of the countries. But the big political one right now is Moraine, like the campaign that has all the people playing in it.
Mhm.
So there are a bunch of people that live in like this town called Moraine, and
Okay.
it is like a base that was set up kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And typically people can't go there because there's a big tundra before you get there. So it's really
Okay.
hard to get there. Most people like there's also the other thing too is we had to uh, so there's airships in the setting, but
Yeah.
airships they only really they float on like magic ley lines. So like if there's no ley line, you can't just like put a ship there. It would be really, really hard to like fly a ship there. So
Yeah.
because of that, this tundra has no ley line. So like you can't just fly over it. So you're talking like really,
Mhm.
really hard caravans that are going through like brutal conditions with like no food or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
So why do people go there? Like, what's the is there some resource at this location?
it's to explore the Astro Line because there's all sorts of crazy stuff there. Like there's new resources, new materials,
Okay.
items called Astro Relics, which are like if you've watched Made in Abyss, it's kind of like similar to that, where you can find like these crazy like items that do stuff, and it's like, how does this work? How does this work? And like there's even a system where like people will gather these things and submit them for research to like the big like academies, like magic academies.
Yeah.
And different monsters, like different parts, new things like that. They're all looking for that. But the fun thing about it is there's a lot of drama because people have different reasons. Like some people want to be like researchers, they want to like understand what Astra is.
Mhm.
Some people are like, I just want fame and fortune, and like I'm here to like make tons of money. And some people are like, well, I'm here for my country because I want to find technology that'll help my country. So they have all these like different reasons. And because of that, the players clash a lot. They end up fighting, they end up making their own little factions. And there's a character who's like the expedition director. And
Yeah.
this character is like a kind of mysterious force. Like nobody knows who they are. No one's ever
Yeah.
seen them. And they actually, there was like a bunch of people thinking that the director was like evil because the director doesn't help them. So like they'd have like a case in which like there'd be this giant monster just walking around like killing people. And
Okay.
it's like the newbies would go out and get slaughtered by this monster. And so they have to set up like parties like, oh, let's go hunt this thing down. But they're like, wait a minute. If the director is this powerful, why are they not doing anything about it? They must be evil, right? And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
from my point of view, it's like you just don't understand. Like your idea of like the future and your idea of what is important, the director is thinking about things on a completely different scale than like you even could possibly imagine. Because from the director's point of view, if the director helps you all, then you'll never grow and you'll suck.
Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of fun like to have
No,
that.
no, that's also okay. Has this been established that they are wrong about the director in universe yet, or is this like being a
There's a song sang by the director. So like okay, so here's like a whole nother thing. So there was a
wait?
fan song made.
What?
Okay.
Explain that.
Okay. So there's a concept. So in the game, the way so first I have to explain like, a little bit about the game. So in
Mhm.
the game, you have 4 action points, and you can use those 4 action points for anything. It's not like D&D where there's like move action, like minor, major. It's 4. And
Okay.
the biggest balls thing you could do is called a double heavy attack, which means I'm not doing anything but just attacking. Right? I'm
Okay.
doing 2 all-in attacks that have I don't care if it misses. If it hits, I can do big damage, right? So it's like the big balls thing to do. And so a player made a song called Double Heavy Attacks. It's like a metal song, and everyone loves this song, right? And it kind of became like this huge meme in like the community.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so the concept of double heavy attacks now means a person who understands what they want and they go for it all in. That's what it means. So
Yeah.
we've taken
You
this
now
song.
have slang. This is so good.
Wait, you said there was the song. Okay, so by the way, for people who are confused as to why something like this is interesting, if you're just watching this and you're just like, this seems like weird nerd stuff, like, why is this interesting? Would I consider how media and entertainment are changing? The concept of a form of entertainment of the type that is being described here was genuinely impossible. I want to say 2 generations ago. So it might have been possible in the early days of the internet, but it hadn't been developed to this extent yet. And what we are seeing right now is something that whatever our kids are doing for fun is likely going to be an extrapolation of ideas like this. The iterative, interactive elements I think are genuinely, like, anthropologically, culturally, we are looking at a and you can ignore it and you can say, well, none of this stuff matters because you know, like, this is all like urban monoculture, whatever. And it's like, no, but this is like this is like actually the like internet conservatives who are into this stuff, right? And people can be like, well, then why would they be into it? And the answer I would make is it's because all of the media that's out there, people are like, why do so many conservative influencers watch a ton of anime? It's because it's not woke yet. It's like the one form of media I can watch where like women are effeminate and men are masculine, and I'm not preached to 24/7. It'll have its own message, but it like this is a form of media that, because people create it communally, and what's even more interesting than that is it's not created by like a localized friend group. It is created by an online friend group, and online friend groups and local friend groups have very little in common if you think about the way they actually end up structured. Local friend groups, you know, the way you look ends up mattering, your local social standing, how much money you have, etc. And this can matter in an online friend group if it's in some like pay to win scenario or something like that. But that's obviously not what this is. And it's one of the reasons that if you look at the culture of our era today, I point out that a lot of just the culture that we live in, and I'd argue all the way down to Trump, originally came from 4chan. Bronies came from 4chan. Memes came from 4chan. Trump originally in the primaries, I'm not saying that he won because of 4chan, but he was recognized in the primaries because of what was happening there. And that was a totally new type of community where social status was determined in a totally new way. And the way it was determined, because there wasn't upvotes or anything like that, was based on how much whatever you said could grab attention. And that meant to be sort of maximally shocking and everything like that. And that defined a generation of cultural output. When you look at what Leaflit is doing now, we might see the prototype of what the next generation of cultural output is going to look like. There are going to be potentially, and I'm not saying it'll happen within Leaflit setting, maybe in 10 years when this is metastasized and you have different groups doing this, groups that are potentially so large that ideas and memes that come up within these settings end up affecting not just like what, like, first of all, the 4chan could create something like a brony movement or memes was insane back in the day, but then they could elect a president that changes politics in the United States permanently. So paying attention to these ways that culture is changing and the innovators within this space is not like a lark. It's not like a curious aside. It's something that anyone who is interested in where society is going is treating as one of the main courses. But to go forwards, you mentioned some sort of fanfic. So people write fan fictions about this and you incorporate them?
It's a song. So somebody made
the song itself is like a fan song. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the fan song Double Heavy Attack. So what we did was we took that and we started making versions of that song from all the characters that embodied that idea, but from their own point of view. So like the director has a version of the song, but it's so completely different than the others, because the others are like, I'm gonna go all in, like, you know, for my family, and you know, this is like, I want to like go on adventures, and she's like, I want the future to exist. It's like so completely different, you know. Like, yeah, it's very funny.
Okay, so
relatable.
I'm actually wait. Are these sung by real people or are they done by AI?
AI.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Well, no, this is the thing about AI and creativity that people don't get, right? Like, so people are like, oh, AI art or AI music. So people are born with different capacities, right? You know, I might be a smart person, but I was born without any genetic capacity for music or art. I just don't have it, right? Now I can create these things, and I regularly do it on shows. I make art, I make music, I make, you know, you created that great one for Asmongold, right? The animated song, like the Skybrow style.
I've watched that so many times. It was really well done. It was worth the effort.
And a lot of people get surprised that this stuff is coming from content creators who people see as like one of the weirdest things that's happened in our generation is that AI, this incredible new technology that came out of nowhere, that for whatever reason, well, we'll talk about why the left came out reflexively against it. And the right has largely in our communities embraced it. Like we all watch Skybrows. We all we like these various songs. I like your Asmongold song. And a lot of people are like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why has this happened? And I think the answer is because for so long, the dominant culture in our societies has been able to control us by saying, you should be ashamed of saying things like that. You should be ashamed of doing things like that. And eventually, the way that people ended up responding was just like, well, if you tell me I should be ashamed, I'm going to reflexively do the opposite. And I'm going to do the opposite the most. Like in Creamy Manjaro, he's talking about AI slop, like the cream of the slop and everything like that, right? Like the whole song is joking and riffing on the idea of like, yeah, it's AI slop, like whatever. And because of this, strangely, the communities and culture that's going to be generated of what, you know, the world our kids are going to live in is predominantly happening in communities like the ones that you're creating. I'd love to know, like, where else are you using AI in the creation of this universe and how the universe is expanding?
Everything. So like we use AI for a lot of our art. Like when I do sessions myself, I usually make songs that are really stupid. So like there was like one time the party I had an encounter where there's this guy who's just causing all this chaos in the area, and they meet this tree, and the tree, the person cursed the tree to have a giant wooden, you know, like just to mess with him. And I just made it a musical number just for fun. Like, so like they come out to like this tree, and he comes out, and I play the song, and it's the tree complaining about everything that happened to him, and like, please adventurers, help me with this problem. But like you couldn't do that before, right? Like there's no way you could do something like that.
No,
right?
what's funny is you describe it as like cringy, but one of the things I've pointed out when we talk about cultural anthropology and how the world is changing, I point out that, you know, in the 90s and the 80s, right wing, you know, influencers, politics was sort of defined by this feeling of disgust, and like these are the things that disgust us, and therefore they're bad. And then we learned basically societally that's a bad way to do things. Like, you know, what's her Mother Teresa, right? With her, yeah, she was like, well, leopards may cause disgust in you, but like they're still people, right? Like you can't trust disgust to be an objective measure of morality. And then you had this dominant culture that came out that was sort of leftist, and it said, well, we'll police things through you know, cringe and things that embarrass you, right? Like this embarrasses you, that embarrasses you. And I think now we're seeing this flip of that, where the new right is sort of defined by vitalism. Like, I don't care how you want to police me. I want to be maximally excited about life and maximally having fun with the life I have. And anybody who, and when you say like, this is cringe, but like I'm leaning into it, what you mean is you've created an environment where you're not afraid of external judgment. What you're trying to create is whatever is maximally, chaotically fun.
I'm cringe, but I am free.
Yeah, you must face the cringe and pass through a very Dune, right? Like Cringe
That's
is
how
the
I
mind
live now.
killer.
That's how I live my life now. I'm cringe, but I'm free. I do whatever I want.
Yeah. I love it. Okay.
Great feeling.
So, by the way, what do you use, Suno?
Yeah, I use Suno, and we use all sorts of AI for everything, like the art on there's no way that we could we tried, by the way, we tried to commission people to do art, but the thing is our release cycle is 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh, and art commissions, we know, we ran an art commission startup. They take forever.
Sometimes
we've gone through the process of trying to pay artists to do all sorts of things and make it easier for them and facilitate it, and it still just takes forever. Art takes a long time.
It does. It does.
Yeah. By the way, the Malcolm and Simone lore, for people who don't know, our first company, when we were first meeting and doing that, when we raised VC money for this and everything, was designed to make inexpensive art commissions of the type that people do on DeviantArt, easy for average people to do as a consumer thing. And it's just, it's interesting. I mean, obviously that it doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, there isn't a way to do this with a lot of the ways that people are using AI. They're like, well, you could be paying an artist. It's I can't pay an artist to do my daily title card. What are you talking about?
Exactly. And the funny thing is I get complaints from people on X. I'm oh, you hate artist Leaflet. I'm I pay more on art than you could even possibly imagine. I was you have no idea. And I'll tell you a little something in regards to that. So we have, for our game, for the one that has multiplayer, a lot of people playing it, right? I'm in contact with a friend who owns a studio in Tokyo. We had a song produced. We got a mini orchestra to play it. We got hired a really, really good singer to sing it, and it's being animated by people that worked on Attack on Titan. So I mean, I paid a lot of money.
No, hold on. When she told me this, so people who work on Attack on Titan are literally animating. It's a new intro thing for your world. You have an old intro thing that I quite like.
Yeah, I could send you the song later. The song is so good. Oh my gosh.
I got
yes, please. This is amazing. I think this is such a good example, though, is that people who condemn use of AI to make art, are oh, how dare you? But really, the people who I've seen use it the most also are spending the most on art and on music, because but they can't, no one else can keep up the pace. And I think it's very similar with stuff just development, or even just phone calls or other stuff that AI is starting to take over. It's the people who need it and just can't get humans to do it enough. No one else can keep up. People aren't replacing humans. They're just trying to force multiply.
Well,
exactly.
I'd also point out that the industries that have been replaced the first, a lot of Hollywood and stuff like this that we're seeing, they were already basically AIs. They were creating the most average slop ever, and that's why AI was so easily able to replace them.
It's true.
What are your thoughts?
When AI was just coming online, I asked various AIs well, what domains will be the final ones left to humans? And they're well, for sure, therapy and art will remain the domain of humans. And it's at the same time that it was just popping up in those areas the most. And I was oh, I don't know. The new thing in the news is, well, the one thing that AI will never be able to do is to have taste. But what is taste? I don't even understand taste. So
she makes my dinner with AI, by the way. If you don't know, the
Perplexity makes I mean, because I know Perplexity blends different models, but it's the best at distilling recipes. Because now, the internet ruined recipes. You have to scroll for 10 minutes to get to the ingredients list if you go off Google. And so just we asked Perplexity, and that is all of Malcolm's food now.
I mean, it's really good, because also tailor it to your taste, right? You'd be I don't like this specific thing, and then I'll work around it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, wonderful. It cooks for you too.
Hold on. So you got through one thing that's happening in this universe. What's something else that's happening in this universe right now that people are paying attention to?
You mean in the game?
Yeah, in the game.
It's the anniversary right now is kind of cool, but
how does the game world recognize its own anniversary? What's going on with that?
Oh, in the game world. Well, in the game world, we just have festivals. So we just make a festival in the game. Like, oh, there's like this caravan that's coming into town, and they have all this like cool stuff, and there's games, and but one of the big things, like one of the big political things, is that's what you're interested in, is
Yeah.
so there's these creatures. I told you already, like the SCP is the fiends. So the
Yeah.
thing about fiends is I have told the players straight up. This is the hilarious thing. You're gonna love this. I told them straight up, like, I'm telling you right now, as like the head lore writer, that all fiends are evil and they want to kill you. Okay, is what I said. And you know what they're doing now? Oh, we have this fiend shopkeeper and she's our friend. And we're gonna take her to the town,
so
by the way.
Yes,
It's
Fryer,
literally
yes.
but it's like, imagine this like on a like happening again, but with like players, and like I'm telling them as like the universal truth of the universe that can like tell them the absolute truth that they all want to kill you, and they're still like, yeah, well, this one, like, you know, she trades me stuff, she trades me food for things, so like, you know, she must be like okay. And they're like, yeah, we would like to take her into our town and she can set up a shop and then we can trade with her. And I'm just like,
this is great lore building though. No, it's great. It's great. I like it because, you know, if they're acting like, we had an episode recently. Did you play the Mass Effect series?
Is this the one about the warrior people with the
EA made it, and I had a crash out about the genophage. I don't know if you remember this plot line, but the Krogan and the genophage. And I was like, you guys are fucking idiot. Anyone who cured this, 96% of players cured the genophage. Krogans had 1,000 children every year and lived 1,000 years. The genophage reduced their birth rate to 1 in 1,000 survive. I said that means that every Krogan woman only has 800 children. Okay? You are insane if you cure this. They are a violent, belligerent species resistant to small arms fire. That destroyed their own planet.
Sorry, I remember that.
But you're showing the same thing. We haven't learned in the society.
Yeah, it's like I told them straight up, and they're still doing it. And so what happened is there's a player faction that is like, we are very anti-fiend and we hate them because they are evil and they want to kill us. And then the other guys are like, no, but like, see, there's like a good one here. And they're like, no, you're an idiot. And so like now they're like fighting. There's like a internal like battle between like these in-character player factions. And it's like actually amazing.
That is so fun. So another fun thing for people who are watching this, to give you contextualization, our kids or our grandkids, depending on how old you are going to be living in environments where they will likely be able to, like, when I look at what the future of video games and the internet is going to be, the idea of AIs being able to create fully modeled realities around us, like putting on a headset and having the AI do that, is likely going to be easy for a lot of people, which allows them to explore whatever world, whatever environment they want. And so when you ask yourself, well, how are people most going to want to explore these completely generated worlds, right? Some people will want to solo it, but I think the vast majority will want to opt into something like what she's creating here. And I think what you're seeing is a prototype of what entertainment may look like 60 years from now, where it will be something like this, where you will have one influencer game master, and then within that world, you just put it on, and you're seeing this done in a piecemeal fashion already with sort of what you're telling us. People are creating songs with AI, people are creating visuals with AI, and in 60 years, the entire environment will be created with AI. And I think that's really cool.
They did a vigil recently.
A vigil for somebody who died?
Because the game is permadeath, and I purposely told them that there's no way to revive people from death.
Oh my gosh! So someone was lost.
Yeah, so it's like really like people get people get so heated in this game because like someone will screw up, like they'll be like, okay, we're gonna fight this like boss. Someone will screw up and they'll get someone killed, and they'll just like yell at that person like out of character, like you freaking, you know, you like get so mad at them, and it's like they like it's such a big deal to them when somebody dies in the game, and then they did like an AI vigil where they like played a song and it had like clips of all the characters using AI.
Oh my god.
So, okay, I really hope the people who have no idea like what we're talking about or anything, when you hear something like this, you can begin to see why something like this gets teased in people and is special to people. That there are hundreds of people that feel that they have an iteration of themselves, because the iteration that you create of you when you're out there and you're interacting with other humans, it is something that many people, I mean, not everyone, but many people sit down and they basically like, okay, who do I want to be to the world? How do I want the world to see me? Right. So you're getting a fragment of themselves within this environment that can live a life. And it's a persona that they embody when they're in the environment, can die. You're dealing with stakes, and stakes on a large scale. You're talking, what was it, like 130 people or something like that?
Yeah.
This is if you talk about most of human history, that's more people than most humans met in their lives, right? Like if you go to the distant past.
Yeah.
Like it's what our brains are meant to deal with, is like a maximum community size.
But I think we also have to remember, though, that this is so much older than the internet, or even like dungeon-based games in the 80s or whatever, your tabletop games as well. When you look at like the Bronte sisters, they had their own fictional universes where like the Duke of Wellington would appear sometimes, but there are all these other characters. And sometimes these didn't show up in their books. This was just the
you have to explain who the Bronte sisters are.
These are famous authors.
They wrote...
Oh, God, I didn't read any of the books. I didn't like them, and they like died young. They were like at the same time of Jane Austen. Maybe Wuthering Heights, because everyone's talking about the new movie is one of them, but I can't remember. But this is something that is very natural to people, and like one of the first things that the internet was used was to have basically text-based versions of these games online. And the fact that this is just a continuation of it, like it has. Now it's super powered with AI, and it is much more complex. But the question is never really, what tech are we using? Like, is this a bunch of young ladies in a house?
By the way, if you're wondering what the Bronte sisters wrote, they wrote Jane Eyre, they wrote Wuthering Heights.
Yeah, there you go.
They wrote The Tenant of Woodfield Hall.
They're very dark, like boring books, in my opinion. I love Jane Austen's books, but anyway, this is just old stuff, and like specifically fantasy worlds in which they are involved. And I think the really interesting thing, and what I love most about the world you've built, is that you don't get caught up in the IP necessarily, or in like the fact that you're building it. Like you don't own it as much as like it's the way that people interact with it and crash into it, create crazy things like vigils and songs and fan art and slang. And that's how you know it's really working. And that's why AI is not a threat to this. It's just a different way in which it's going to manifest. And it's like the raindrops are just bouncing off a slightly different surface, but in this case, they're going to be bouncing off in a much more beautiful way. Whereas before they were like falling into paper and just getting soaked in, and now they're falling into something and like making ripples, and it's just so much more potential. And I'm really excited about what's going to be possible as AI enables more going forward. Because already, yeah, like, it wouldn't surprise me actually if like the Bronte sisters are like, if they had a pianoforte, like sitting down and like writing songs about their like whatever their obscure characters were in their fantasy worlds. But now you can just take that and like 1,000x it. And of course, make it, now you have like 130 people. They had like 4, like the scale of it, the complexity, the fact that you have a world that updates when different factions are doing different things out in the world. By the way, what are other weird things that have...
Oh, I can tell you about the time the game almost ended.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, the game almost ended because, okay, so what happened was there was one party, right, who met this witch. And this witch, she's like a tiny little necromancer girl. And she has killed somebody before. Like she's actually killed one of the players, right? In one of the early sessions. They meet her
too. Yeah.
And her whole thing is like, she's like, her concept of death is like, she doesn't care. She thinks it's like just fun. Right. So what she does is she takes people, she kidnaps them, and she puts them into a death game. And she like watches, and she just like sits there and watches. And she's like, yeah, like, like, I hope you win, right? And if you win, you get a prize. But whatever happens. And she like watches and she does this. So anyway, they end up like fighting her at some point, and they like they were gonna die to her, but they convinced her to not kill them. And then they were like, "Oh, we have an idea. Why don't you check out this town that we built?" She's like, "Town?" And they're like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Okay, that's my town now." And so like they took her to like the town, which is like this new outpost that the players had built. And like they had built this over months, by the way. So like first they had to conquer the area, and then people had to chop wood down and bring all the logistic wood alchemy materials, and then had all the crafter players had to go in and like actually build it like over weeks, right? So they had like this fort, and it was like their precious fort. Like, okay, now we have a teleporter in the middle of this area, so we can teleport instead of like having to walk down the valley. And so they had this beautiful town, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm the leader now." And like she came in, and they were so mad because like the people that were building it were like, "What the hell are you doing?" Right? And so there was a whole thing where, and they're like, "Director, like, what do we do? Like this crazy." And she's like, "I don't care." Director's like, "I don't care." Like, "Okay, sure. And if that's what you guys want, fine, whatever." And they're like, "No, but we can't have this." And they're like, "Okay, election." So they did an election arc. And like people got so mad at this like entire election arc, and like people were like, "We're gonna quit. This is so dumb. If like she takes over after we built all of this, like this is," and it's like, well, I mean, you guys did that. Like it's not us. We didn't plan on this. And that's like kind of how we approach it, is like we like to take what the players do, and then like, how does that affect the world if like they do this? Like,
no, it's 100% downstream of player choices, which I like. Yeah. And then wait, so she was okay with an election? She wasn't just like, why are we doing an election? I'm queen. Like
they convinced her that if she was so cool, she would do an election. And she was like, "Yeah, you're right." Because she's like the idiot, right? Like the necromancer's an idiot. So but this necromancer became such a beloved character. She has like multiple songs and a plushie. Like we have a plushie on sale in the store right now, and a bunch of people bought it. One person bought 3.
I mean, just in case.
Well, that's great. That's yeah. I want to know. So by the way, this humorously reminds me of the joke. I don't know if you've seen Through All of Adventure Time. Fantastic show, by the way, people. But there's one of the Princess Bubblegum gets deposed by somebody who holds an election, and she comes back and very anticlimactic is like, "I'm a monarch. You can't hold an election. Like, what are you doing?" Like. They're like, "But you were unelected," and she goes, "I'm the monarch."
They basically convinced her that, okay, well, you don't rule this place, but you can set up a base outside of it. And so now she has a base, and like she willingly lets people play death games if they want. She'll give them like big prizes, but then you just die, right? So it's like a lot of people are like, it's scary because normally you can run. Like if you go into like the woods and you encounter like this giant, I don't know, like say giant boar monster, right? Boar boss monster. You can be like, okay, well, we don't really know what it does. You can test it a little bit and be like, okay, this is a little bit too sketch. Like everybody retreat. So you just like everyone throws down smokes and they all like retreat from the battle. And this is a common thing, like retreating from combat, because your character's life matters, right? You die. And so like, but with her, you're locked in her dungeon, so you can't escape. So that's pretty funny.
Wait, so what other plushie characters exist from this world?
A lot. We've got I got so many now. We've got the witch. We've got the merchant. The merchant has one. One of the cultists has one.
Wait, is this the merchant who's of the evil race?
No, she's like the good merchant. So she's she's like the shopkeeper. Like she resets the shop, resets. So the other thing too is resources are finite. So it's not like the shop is like has this item, you can always buy it at this price. It fluctuates based on world events. So like sometimes like wood will cost more like a certain week because of a thing that happens. And
bro, I want my kids playing in this so much. Like this sounds like such a healthy thing for like young teens to get into. Continue, but
yeah, but yeah, it's like that's that merchant, and then there's like a cultist that got a plushie. She's not the it's this genocidal squirrel got a plushie as well.
Oh,
yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, there's a bunch of characters getting plushies.
Who makes the plushies?
I do. I actually got into it because I wanted the plushies to exist. So I was like, how do I get that to go? And now I've become like a plushie like mogul. I don't know how that's happened, but
did you like make plushies before? Do you have a sewing machine?
no. I looked on like the logistics of how to do it. I found like a manufacturer to do them.
Okay.
And it like all fits our standards and stuff. So we do it to how we want to do it, you know.
Wait.
Yeah.
So like other people come to you to make plushies for their shows and stuff now?
Yeah. I've gotten a bunch of.
You're a plushie mogul.
Do you handle shipping?
Yes. So my mom does all of the she's like the shopkeeper. She does all the merch and stuff like that.
So we made guys, let us know what base camp plushies.
Yeah, we can do one. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'll see about that. I think that's a fun idea. That's really cool.
That is
okay, so what's your future for all of this? Like when you think about where this evolves into, what it evolves into, I'm interested.
Well, what I would like is I'd like to see more people playing the game like on their own, like as not a part of like this big campaign. Because I want to see like people playing like their own campaigns, kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, right? But as far as like the campaign right now, I don't know. It's just kind of whatever happens, and then we just go with the flow, right? It's like
Yeah.
I want to do more character stuff. Like I started doing. Oh, I got one that you'll think is great. There's this character that is an NPC that everyone doesn't really. They think she's kind of. What's the word? She's very. Sorry, I'm blanking out. It's like she's a killjoy. Like she always like she has rules and she's like you have to follow these rules and like this is how it's gonna be. And they're like she's such a stickler. She's so annoying. And then I released the other day a character image song of her. And it explains why she's like that, like her backstory. And so people are like, "What do you feel? Do you feel like such a jerk now? Because now you know why she's like." But do more stuff like that. I'd love to do stuff like that.
That is, I don't want to be a killjoy, but I know you like the idea of people playing this independently, but it sounds like so much of the magic of what you've built is in the community that makes it feel. So when I talk about, 60, 100 years, when we can create any artificial environment we want, the only things that will imbue these worlds with reality is the shared experiences we have with other people. And in a way, I think my guess would be for your players, that's what imbues the world with reality, is the fact that like D&D can, like when you're playing, I don't know if other people don't feel this way, but when I'm playing like a random whatever game, right? I sometimes, like if I know it's a game that everyone else is playing right now, it feels like it has some sort of cultural meaning.
I see what you mean. Okay.
Helldivers 2. I probably wouldn't have played Helldivers 2 normally, but everybody was playing it. Everyone was talking about it. It felt like a cultural moment, right? Or Pokemon Go or something like that.
I understand the question now. So like what I would want to do is I would like people like using like our stories, using our game, just like, plushies, music, maybe, maybe one day an anime or manga or something like that. I would like people to see that there is the possibility of better. Because like what we have right now is so ass.
Yeah.
So it's like I just want people to see like you can do things that are crazy. Like this idea that there's like this big campaign with all these people and it's interconnected and like
that's insane.
People are
You
invested.
did that. Like, that's actually crazy. It's super cool that it's working, but it's crazy.
And thank you.
And you weren't doing this the last time we talked to you, right? Or was it just starting?
No, still working on it. It wasn't.
This is
I think it was
first year anniversary was today.
Oh, happy anniversary!
Yeah, thank you.
Well, we'll run this tomorrow for first year anniversary. That's amazing.
Well, but yeah, also just for the housekeeping, like where can people find this and get involved and opt in and have fun?
It's rpg.angelsword.com is like the game, the base game, and then in order to join the other game, it's Patreon.
Perfect.
What's crazy too is like people got so addicted because it works off of you can't always go out. It's like a real time system where like if your character goes out for this week, you can't play anymore because they're not here. So people started doing was they're like, can we have like another character? I'm like, okay, fine. Like Patreon upgrade, you can like get another character. Can we get another character? Okay, fine. And like it got to the point where people were like, can I make like another Patreon account? And we're like, no, okay, it's over. Like no more.
Why? You need more money.
Because I want people. So the downside of people making too many characters is like they become less invested to each individual character. So it's like we want like those relationships, right? And oh my god, the best is when like two characters have a relationship, and it's like, well, what if one of you goes down, you die? You know, and it's like
wait till you get your first marriage from this world, right?
It's already happened.
What?
Yeah, people have gotten married and had kids.
Well, in world.
Okay. Oh,
people marriage like this. So I need to like bring up two different worlds that were like really big in my childhood. Do you remember there was this game, and I watched like things on, I never played it myself. It took place in Egypt. And everybody could do like whatever they want. And there was like one cast where you would like level up by getting people to like vote for you or be in like one place at a time. It was weird. It was an MMO where the only way you could level up was through community-based events. And it became this giant thing. But the other one, obviously, Second Life. And today people don't know Second Life, right? Like they don't understand what a cultural phenomenon this was when we were there was like a big real estate craze in it where people were paying like $500,000 for like a house or something. And people get married in it all the time. You can go to YouTube, you can watch these videos of people getting married in Second Life. I always thought it was so cool. I felt like a bit of an outsider in the Second Life craze because I was like, I don't have the social confidence to go into an environment with this many people. I don't know, it feels like a cooler version of that because it's more abstracted. See, the problem with environments like Second Lives and Roblox and Minecraft and a lot of stuff that comes out of this is it's not abstracted in the way that your world is abstracted, that allows for denser lore, that allows for deeper world building, and that interacts with AI more. And I think it's cool how the way you're building all of this up is more conducive to AI world than the way that directionality like Roblox and Minecraft, which I think a lot of people think the future is going to look like, and I don't.
Yeah, it's really the coolest thing about it for me is just like you said, the interconnectedness where each individual person has the agency to do like whatever, but then they eat the consequences of it, right? So you can do like whatever you want, but then you go to jail or something if you screw up.
How do you do kids? Sorry, before I say off.
The
Are
only
they
ones.
NPCs?
So there were two cases. Well, sorry. There have been multiple cases. I think the only reason I know this is because people keep asking me for the what happens if this race has a kid with this race. They keep doing this, right? So I had to like come up with all these rules for it. But anyway, some players have done that and then they retired their characters and that's it. And like
and then they play as the kids?
That happened one time. So like in one of my older campaigns, there was a time skip. Like the original Angel Sword campaign had a time skip, and the character wanted to play as his kid. So like that happened. But
okay, that's fun. All right.
I made him play as his first character later because then at the end of that campaign, there was a thing where their kid was in trouble and they had to like save their kid with their old character.
Oh my gosh, they had to come back and save themselves. And then there's so many things that you've described here where I'm like, nah, that's just how real life works. You're just describing the real world. I mean, like we see ourselves as our kids, and so many parents, I think, like they just watch themselves playing life through their children, but also like this idea that figures get either things or figures can get power through, attention and belief. And like, here's everyone like asking for like, oh, like and subscribe. When like literally our son Octavian, like I guess misheard the concept and was like life and describe. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, you want to get the power. Like that is what they're getting. It is their life. And he was actually shocked the other day to discover that YouTubers also make money. He was like, wait, they make money? I thought they just got likes. And that was like, that he wanted that as his career. Like the whole money thing was just like icing on the cake. There's this new currency.
Awesome.
So yeah, I mean,
he learned we didn't respawn.
Yeah,
he's like, wait, you don't respawn? And we're like, no, you're gonna die.
The number of times we've had to have to like tell our children that, yeah, in our world, you don't respawn.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's
a conversation.
Yeah, the lines have really become blurred between. I mean, yeah.
We don't want to hold you forever. This has been longer than we anticipated.
It's so
I had so much fun. Like, I mean, God, you had me on here just to nerd out about like stuff I would have nerded out
well,
about.
You alluded to this in our last conversation, and it was like one of those like.
Yeah, no, I asked you last time. I was
like by the tip of the iceberg and being like, wait, we could have sunk, we could have gone deep. Like, why?
No, I like asked you last time, and you seemed like embarrassed to go deeper into it. And I think it's because you're new. You know, this is your first time doing something on somebody else.
Yeah.
And, you maybe underestimated how much of a nerd I am about stuff like that.
Yeah.
I used to, I might do it next time we talk. I could do it. I
love
created multiple worlds, like as deep as the ones you're creating. One we were going to turn into a video game, but it turned out to be rfab.ai. And so we ended up creating like AI play worlds if people want to try that. And then the other one was just like anytime I'd walk somewhere, I'd try to build on the world. Like, and so I love doing stuff like this. I'd love to have you back on sometime. You're a very, very enjoyable person to talk to. I'd love to come on your stream sometime.
Yeah, we should talk about that. Yeah.
I've never done a live stream before, and I'm terrified. Actually, I don't even think I'm going to edit anything out. You might not know. Like the last time we did a thing together, I asked you a few like awkward questions, and I ended up editing them all out. It's like, good thing I can edit out. But this time, no awkward questions because I've watched more of your stuff. Oh, one of my favorite things you talked about recently, just for like people, is you were talking about this moment where like you were living in an apartment and it was just a mattress on the ground of an empty room. And I was like, oh my God, I have lived that exact experience. And so many people have. And I was like, I kind of want to go back to that in a way. Like the world.
He literally burst into my room last night and was like, I missed that.
Oh, I thought
that was our life for a long time. We like preferred it. It was kind of, it's nice, it's less cluttered.
My favorite Leaflit Easter egg you dropped in the middle of a video, and I'm only dropping it here at the end because you said you were only okay with dropping in the middle, but the collection of World War II memorabilia.
I don't have any yet, but I was like very interested in it because I went to a gun show and then they had it. So I was like, that's cool. There's like so much lore behind it, like that shovel was like used somewhere like crazy, like things like that.
No, at a time where things actually mattered, where like actions, the world, but we're back there. The world is on a whatever you call it right now, was AI and everything. Like the future of the economy is going to be totally different depending on who wins what. Like we're trying to build like autonomous agents to replace employees, and people are like, why do you? The other day, I almost passed out on screen, and they're like, why are you working this long, right? And I was like, somebody is going to create the employee replacement. And then everyone else is not going to have a job. Like, I'm not trying to do this to have
so excited to do this. This is the thing people are mad about.
To have all the money and then all decide how to create a good society after that.
Well, I hope you win.
Yeah, right. Anyway, so fun to have you here.
Thank you so much.
I wanna do stuff together in the future, and I hope that things continue to go well for you. Your channel's been popping off.
Thank you so much.
I've seen, and not just your channel, but you as a caricature. When you look at the central place you have in Skybrow videos regularly, right? Like you're in almost every video multiple times, and
good character.
I think it's because you are capturing the main character, and I don't know if you ever feel like this, but you're like, damn, am I like a playable character of our generation? Like
the funny thing is I actually had such a dilemma about this. So like okay, I'll go into it. So I actually was like, I was talking about how I was like super depressed for a long time.
Yeah.
That was my entire life until this month. Like this month it went away. And it was so weird.
Congratulations.
It was so weird. Like everything is just so different now for me, but yeah.
Did stuff like Skybrows play a role in that, or is that not as relevant?
Actually,
to
you guys had more to do with it.
Oh, that's really thoughtful.
I could tell you about it later.
Yeah, well
yeah.
It's like our content and stuff, but yeah, I don't want to like but the Skybrows thing for me has been very interesting because we don't hang out with people anymore. Simone and I, like, I don't leave my house. We're complete hikikomori. And yet I watch your videos, right? And I watch your videos and I've had interactions with you. And so it makes me feel like, oh, that's one of my friends. And so I watched this guy
again, just not to be a history bummer here, but like asynchronous friendships have been the deepest friendships for a huge portion of human history. Letter writing used to be a big part of how people had deep friendships, and those were just asynchronous relationships. They were just watching each other's streams. I don't know what to tell you. This is not like a new point in human history, and it's honestly so much better for most people. Like,
but
it's
you know
great.
what did, and you're right about this. A lot of famous people in history, they like knew each other, they corresponded via
they read people's books. Like, that is how you had a relationship with people, even if you existed at the same time in history. Because I mean, that's just how people live.
But the Skybrows videos, to me, the interesting, it's felt like there's a party of cool kids, and like all the cool kids are at the party, and I get to be at the party with the cool kids.
Oh, it's when your asynchronous proxy representation gets to go to the party with the other.
Right? No, because like I don't get to decide if I'm in one of these. Like somebody who's like a tastemaker gets to decide, and then
the best part is you don't physically have to be there.
Yeah, I physically don't have to be there. I just get the pictures afterwards.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
But I just remembered, sorry, I totally like tangented like in the middle of me answering your thing. But basically, I've always like wanted to be like a support. I never wanted to be the main character. So it's like every time like I get put, I get sort of a feeling of that, it makes me uncomfortable.
It's so hero's journey though. You're reluctantly taking upon, yourself the.
Well, it's actually really interesting that you mentioned this, and I don't want to go on too long a tangent at this point in the video.
No, take your time. I'm good.
I actually talk about this in terms of modern right-wing influencers, where one of the things that has defined the people who have risen in influence within our like intellectual circle, like an Asmongold or something like that, is the lack of wanting to exploit this or open thirst. Like Asmongold could live in a mansion if he wanted to. Like Asmongold could have the hottest girlfriend and live in a mansion and shock his dog every day, right? Like he could do whatever the F he wanted to at this level of fame. And yet he doesn't, right? Like he the moment I always talk about is the contrast of like Hassan Piker's shocking, like the most expensive dog breed you could have, and the moment where like a cockroach is crawling on Asmongold and he picks it up. I'm like, I've never seen anyone be this ginger with a cockroach. And it's like, I'm gonna release it downstairs. And he's like, I mean outside. Like after a long while, and he released it downstairs. But the point I'm making here is you and him, I think the reason why people build this with you is it's so clear that you don't even have the capability to look down on your fans. And I think that this is like the main thing that people are looking for. They're just so tired of an elite world that thinks that they're better than them and that they're other and that they're separated behind some fence, right? And I think that you represent that very well on stream, and it comes from this emotion where you say, I never want, like the only reason people look to you the way they do is it's clear that this is never about being the lead character for you. Well, if you get what I mean by this.
The way I see it is like everyone has a role to play regardless of like what their capability is. It's if they're gonna play it or not, right?
It's so
but, well, I mean, our roles can change, and our roles can change based on our contextualization of them, right? Like we can decide, and everyone gets to decide what their purpose is, right? And in any moment, you can just decide my purpose is X. Like I look at the world and I've decided to. That's the coolest thing about life. We get to judge the measuring stick that we judge our value in existing off of. And if you default to somebody else's value stick, whether that is hedonism, like how much pleasure you feel, or how much status you have, and I think status is the primary measuring stick that most people default off of. And I think that you can, through you know, the way that you show yourself to people, show your other people, they don't need to judge themselves off of that anymore.
Yeah.
And that's hard. I mean, I did that for myself for the longest time. I thought, you know, how many people I slept with, who I was hooking up with, that was what a man's worth was judged on.
Yeah.
And if you just default to these societal standards, it F's up your life.
I think the important thing is, like, I think people like us, we're in the position where we can give people like a reason, I guess, to do anything. And it's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to like formulate it. Sorry. We can give people like it's like, you know, if you don't think you have a purpose, then shut up and listen to my purpose and take it upon yourself and like be infected by me.
Be part of this. When we wrote our first book, we were literally taking the opposite perspective. So if anyone who's like followed us for a long time and they've read our books, our first book is like, okay, I'm gonna give you every purpose you could possibly have, and you're like gonna go through it. I'm gonna try to be as unbiased as possible. And then me, like 10 years later, no, like just
do this
like,
thing.
This is what you should do. Like, what do you?
This is wrong. This is right. This is stupid. This is smart. Yeah, God. Okay. Yeah.
I was reading that book actually like just yesterday.
No. I like that book. I think it's helped a lot of people.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, we get emails from people pretty frequently about it.
We wrote it for ourselves and for our kids because we wanted to work it out. And honestly, ever since we did, I've never felt FOMO. I've never felt cognitive dissonance because I know what it is that I'm about, that I want to optimize. So like there's never any ambiguity unless it's tactical about like, should I be doing this thing or not? It's like, well, does this maximize something like the thing or things I think have inherent value? Yes or no? Like, okay, then I'm not going to worry about it. Like
that's where all the bad feelings like live. Isn't that ambiguity? That's when you get that like kind of bubbling, like nasty feeling, you know?
Yeah. Like, oh, I should be at that party because everyone's at the party. I'm like,
I didn't realize this one, but you're right. It was after writing that book when I began, because I didn't like, this isn't like idea. I just like sat down and was like, okay, like I need to figure out a reason to be alive. I should probably have
those moments. Yeah.
I exist. So I'll just go over every argument and it wasn't even like, it's like people think like somebody sits down and you know, like Joseph Smith or something, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna go ask God or something why I should be alive. No, I was like that girl who did like the which guy should I date, all the positives and negatives of each one.
Oh,
and I like did that for every reason why I shouldn't kill myself. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go through every one of them, and maybe one of these will be hot to me. I'm like, okay, I'll marry that one. And then I ended up, you know, changing over time and everything like that. But it was a lot of yeah.
It's the biggest problem in society right now is purpose. Not really, as you guys put it, objective function.
Yeah, well, we don't have a framework for it anymore. Like, this is how the way purpose dissolved. I'm gonna go on a separate. I'm so sorry.
No. I love this. I'm having a great time.
We as a society used to have frameworks for purpose, and for most people, they were their religious system. And the school system, ironically, I think we lost our purpose not because of the secular world, but because of the way the religious world acted to the school system. So the school system would try to give people alternate purposes. They try to be like, okay, yes, you may have a purpose in this respect, but here's some other philosophical concept of why life matters, what matters in life. And you go to the 80s or whatever, and the religious people are like, you can't tell our kids there's some alternate reason that life may have meaning, right? Like we need to go is this reason. But then the religious people weren't passing on the full structure of their religion to their kids. They were passing on a number of superficial tales, and then like urban monocultural beliefs, as I often talk about it, like, oh, well, like, you know, perfect, you know, everyone's exactly the same, and that our entire world purpose is maintaining this this sameness, but it didn't continue on to the next generation. And so when I grew up, it was a world where everyone was terrified to give me scaffolding to build purpose around. And I made terrible decisions in my life because I didn't know. I looked to society, and I often talk about this, and I saw everyone, and I literally thought, I was like, okay, and I know this sounds so fucking stupid, like now, but I literally followed this until like, you know, into college, right? Like it sounds almost non-sentient that someone could have this perspective, but I was like, my purpose is to have status among males and to sleep around, right? And if you look at like the online manosphere content, I think a lot of young men are picking this up. They're like, oh, that's what men do in this world, right? Like that's what makes a man cool. I watched. Have you ever heard of Hansa?
Hansa?
Hansa. He's a male influencer. You should watch our Hansa video. It's very funny because we go into how this basically destroyed his life. And he had this really perfect fiance. And he ends up breaking up with her basically because he doesn't feel as masculine anymore, right? Like, and it's like, well, you know, all of this stuff that you have taken to be like, this is masculine, this is manosphere, etc., was to get the wife and then move to the stage where it's about making her happy and your family happy, and that will give you more purpose than anything you could have done in this hotness maxing stage. But you accidentally adopted this hotness maxing stage, and there was a moment where he was trying to make a major life decision, live in a country or live in a town. And he said the metric he used to make the decision is which was more manly, right? And I was like, well, that's a really bad metric to use about a major life decision.
Yeah.
But it's not dissimilar to a metric I may have used at his age, right? And I think that like all of us can just like disseminate to people, like, you don't need to do what I'm doing in life, right? Or believe what I believe in life. But if you can, for the love of God, just think through things yourself. Like, don't like an anti-influencer, like, just don't listen to the influencer. It's like, just think through for yourself what has value.
So I think that's the problem, though. I don't think people are as equipped to actually think for themselves. Because, like, you know, I remember when I was school, like in school, they would have like Socratic seminars. Like you would like have to think through like these individual problems. But now it's like, here's like the answer to the thing. Like that's it. Like write that down.
Well, there are literally influencers. So yeah,
like,
it's literally, if you like search de-influencing on YouTube, that's exactly what I mean.
Wow,
there are a lot of them. It's bad.
No idea how bad school is these days. We send our kids to school.
It's not just school though. The big thing you're missing, Malcolm, is that like for a very long period of time, there haven't necessarily been very good networks for giving someone an ejective function. Basically, it was just serve God if you got to that point. But the vast majority of humans were just super stoked to like maybe not be dying right now, to not be hungry, to like not watch like their children or their parents or their relatives or loved ones to be dying and starving. So like that was kind of it. And even like we've talked about this on other podcasts, like reading my grandmother's biography and stuff, and just her experiences just trying not to die, and she was just so excited to like not be dead, and then like, oh my gosh, you know, washing machines were invented and how great is this. Like just people have been so hasn't been room for it, and now that there is room for it, we need better frameworks. But then like the one thing that was left, which was the church, is just not there to help people because they gave a decent. But here's the problem, is that many religions, especially like post-Enlightenment, weren't really good at holding up to science and physics. And so for a lot of people, even if churches were strong and church communities were strong, they weren't going to cut it for people. And that's where you see, even in the past, a lot of nihilistic struggling among the wealthy elite, like landed gentry, etc. Because like for the people for whom church just didn't do it, they were like, I'm not buying this, or this explanation doesn't make sense for me. They would lose their faith and then just play status or sex games. That was it. Or some kind of stupid optimization game. And usually it had to do with power or money.
And this goes back to like the founding fathers of America. You can see some of them doing this.
Oh, this goes way back before them. It was either, you know, God worked for you, or it didn't. If you reached that level in life, and like 1% ever did. So yeah, I'm glad that we found a framework that worked.
But I like
a lot of people do it.
One of the things that Simone's mentioning here that I think Leaflit will find a funny idea is we talk about how like women crave a dystopia. Like the reason like young girls read all these dystopian fictions is because most women throughout history lived in a dystopia. Like if you go back, you know, Great Depression dystopia, World War I dystopia, World War II dystopia, and if you go pre-Great Depression, I mean, for women, truly a dystopian world.
Pre-feminism was just always a dystopia because you don't have property rights and stuff. So like, we've evolved to live. I was born in the dystopia, and I was made in this dystopia. So
the challenge this causes, as we argue, is that especially for young women, and this is where I think young women go woke so hard, is they need to believe that there's this giant oppressive force out there, and so if they don't grow up with a genuine existential threat, they create one. And they believe this existential threat, the patriarchy or whatever, is as real as living in a communist state or something like that.
You could say they were born renegades that need like a force to navigate and fight against, and when that structure is gone.
And we will solve this for our daughters by torturing them. This is
they deal with enough constraints as it is, but they also like I think the one that Malcolm was referring to earlier, Titan, literally thinks she's going to become someone who she saw as another VTuber who's a shark princess. She literally
Guro. You know Guro.
Yeah, I know Guro.
Yeah. So when we're like, I'll be like, yes, ma'am, and she'd be like, I am not a ma'am. I am a girl and a shark princess, and she takes it extremely seriously. I don't. She doesn't need dystopia. She's gonna be.
Tell her about the time where she said she's gonna eat you when she grows up.
Oh yeah. She's like, sorry, mommy, I'm gonna grow big, and like I'm gonna eat you.
I may eat you, she said, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, we've negotiated down to like might bite, but probably not maim. So I think we're making progress.
Oh my God.
Nice. Yeah, this is great.
We play into our kids' fantasies maybe too hard.
Like, no, it's all yes and. It has to always be yes and. It's 100% necessary. It is fantastic. They're very vehement about it. But oh gosh, okay, we will let you get on with your day.
I had fun. Thank you so much.
You were keep doing the things.
You guys do.
Yeah, I genuinely laughed a lot. I laughed till I cried at the beginning. I was actually like crying at the beginning when we were talking about like the fucking concepts that we're talking about and people thinking that we're far-right extremists. Like that far-right extremism is just like the nerdiest effing nerds you have ever seen in your life. Who are hanging out and talking about like philosophy and like made-up game worlds.
I know. It's so crazy.
Yeah,
sometime
all my leftist friends from high school probably think we're like, just sharpening our tiki torches and putting on khaki pants and whatnot, and like we're like, well, actually there are two different types of this, and like we have to like talk about the lore and like and like that
sharpening our tiki torches. I need to use that.
Yeah.
All right,
I love that so much.
Thank you.
Check out her stuff, by the way, guys. Join this community. It is called
rpg.angelsword.com.
All right, have a
enjoy the Patreon because it is going to be worth it. Oh my gosh, thank you. All right,
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.